Hello there. How are you doing? So, this week, I came across this story which says that Congo, the Congolese government, the richest country on planet Earth, was undecided between Uganda and Sudan as to which of those two countries they should export their crude oil through. Now, to those who may not know, is that Congo, the DR Congo, discovered a huge quantity of crude oil on Lake Albert, what we call the Graben Albertine, also known as the Albertine Basin. Now, this Lake Albert is right on the border of Uganda and Congo. The way we say that Lake Kivu, the one I've made so much stories about, is right on the border of Rwanda and Congo. There's another lake within the Rift Valley, all the way north, that is called Lake Albert. And it is now the border between Uganda and Congo. And I know a lot of you have read stories and you know that Uganda discovered oil, a lot of it. Latest update places Uganda's oil at about 6 billion barrels of crude oil. So it's a huge amount of oil. Now, the same lake, because now Uganda found this oil in the fields of Hoima. Now, Hoima is a region right next to this lake. It was a fishing village or a couple of fishing villages. Now, of course, those villagers were moved away from that place. So the Hoima fields are on the border or on the edge of that lake. More oil was found inside the lake itself. But the border between Uganda and Congo splits the lake into two, right? And now it turns out there's two blocks. Oil is usually, or the exploration of oil is usually given in what we call the blocks. So there's two blocks, block 1 and 2, called the Graben Albertine blocks, which now are inside the Congolese side of that lake, where twice the amount of the oil Uganda has discovered is suspected to be there. And so far, there's a company that has found that oil, and it is in the process of pumping it out to the surface. You understand how, weird this is, because a lot of people, a lot of Congolese people and other Africans, maybe they never heard of Congo having this crude oil, because the media houses we have in Africa, they talk about politics and family relationships. That's what they are always talking about. The international media house, they only talk about conflicts in Africa and diseases. They will never talk about positive things like minerals. So the reason why sometimes I come across this kind of information, and the reason why I want you to know about it, and by the way, for those who sometimes think I come up with stories for views, I always tell them, why don't you use Google search, type Graben Albertine oil blocks, and see the results that come there. Or even better, go to that chat GPT and ask that AI whether Congo has crude oil, and you'll be shocked, because it turns out you are the only one who was not aware. So Congo has a lot of minerals. It has cobalt, it has lithium, it has, I think, coltan, gold. It has diamonds from Kasai, where the president comes from. Felix Tshisekedi is from Kasai region. You know about Mbujimai, that town where diamonds are mined. Congo also has now crude oil. So it has everything you can ever imagine as a mineral. It has everything. This country, what it needs is just good management. Now, back to the story about our crude oil. I am trying so hard to avoid, being political. But Museveni, Yoweri Museveni and Paul Kagame, they have the same agenda. So I'm being political now. They have the same agenda to try to steal minerals from Congo. And I'm not just accusing them. Uganda has been accused by Congo. Today they are paying reparations for the minerals they stole in Kisangani back in 2002-2003. So it's a fact. It's not like wild accusations. The other thing is Uganda kind of manufactured rebels, ADF rebels. They call them Islamic rebels.
It is all about the pressure that is down here in Congo, the pressure specifically about the ADF being followed every now and then.
And now sent them to that side of this lake, Lake Albert, on the Congolese side, that region of Benin and other regions near that lake. And this now, the Ugandan army asked Congo to give them permission to pursue these rebels on the other side of the Congolese border near this lake, where we are talking about the crude oil. And from what the fishermen in Congo are saying is that the Ugandan soldiers keep detaining them and stopping them from, accessing the lake to do fishing. So that is what is happening. And it's all about this crude oil. But the other thing that is happening is that Uganda has insisted that Congo exports their oil, the one that now they discovered on this lake, through their pipeline, which they are calling the East African, Community Pipeline, or ECOP. They are calling it ECOP. It's a pipeline that is coming from the Hoima fields near that lake, going south through Uganda and then into Tanzania, and all the way to the Tanzanian port or coasts of Tanga. So it's called the ECOP pipeline. So Uganda wants Congo, because now Congo is part of the East African community, to export their crude oil through that pipeline. But Congo doesn't want to do that because they suspect Uganda would or might steal their crude oil. So Congo has approached Sudan, the northern Sudan, not southern Sudan, northern Sudan, to allow them to export their crude oil through their pipelines. Because today, South Sudan still exports their crude oil through Sudanese pipelines all the way to the coast on the Red Sea, so the Sudanese coasts on the Red Sea. So Congo wants to do that. Obviously, the easiest option would have been using the Ugandan pipeline, the ECOP. But because Uganda has the same agenda as Rwanda when it comes to Congo, Congo is being suspicious. They do not want to put or to place themselves in a situation where they will come to regret. So they are suspicious of Uganda. And assuming Uganda had a different president today, I think for Congo, they would not even think about it twice. They would just accept and export their crude oil through Uganda. But because it is Museveni and they know who Museveni is, that's why they have approached Sudan to request that they build a pipeline from Lake Albert through the northern east of Congo, then into Sudan.